we can't really actually evolve if we don't feel safe. Like people will say to me going, why do you do your financial planning process that way? And I say, well, it's because a lot of times, particularly like if a couple comes to me, one's more dominant on the money side than the other one. And the other reason why the other one is like not plugged in on the money stuff, because it's not a safe container for them to actually have their viewpoint or to do things their way, because there's a lot of shame, blame, guilt, and judgment. And I'm finding that is across the board in relationships, in our health world. Buddy, welcome. I am Julie Murphy, and we are going to help you awaken your health today. And I always say that we either work things out or we act it out, and we do it through our money, through our health, or through our relationships. So I am definitely not in the health field, but my buddy Nam here is. And he's actually helped me with my personal health. So I'm going to out myself a little bit today to share some of my nitty gritty about my health stuff that Nam has really helped me through. Nam, say hello to everybody.
What's up, beautiful people? I am Nahum Vizakis, and I am here to talk and help you guys understand some pretty cool stuff that I've been getting into as far as new biohacks and ways to optimize your health. And we're going to mix it in with some wealth information and tie it all in together, because they are all interconnected. So thank you guys.
They really are.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. You know, you and I have been on this journey. We've been, we've done shamanic journeys together. You've pricked my finger and analyzed my blood under a microscope, and you've introduced me to IV therapies. It's been really quite amazing. And I have to say, people keep saying to me, Julie, you look like you're 10 years younger. And I'm like, why, thanks. I have Nam to thank for that.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I am grateful for that, because I couldn't have done it without your coaching, man. Because again, I can analyze a stock portfolio and help you get your cash flows in alignment, but I'm not really, the body part is where my stuff acts out at. And,
and you know, like right now in this age that we're moving into, the age of Aquarius, it's really important to get into the more communal, like supporting each other. People's values and morals are changing, and we have to start relying on, you know, the people that are close to us in our lives as a more, you know, like almost like bartering kind of system, but like an evolved kind of way, right? Like people's value systems are dramatically shifting, especially with the volatility in all the different markets. Nobody really knows, like you cannot plan like years down the road right now, because you don't know what it's going to look like.
Well, and this is where it's so important to stay flexible and nimble. If it's one thing I always say, that I have 11 brothers and sisters, and I always said, like, I wonder how my children are actually going to learn how to be resilient and adaptable the way I did, because I have 11 brothers and sisters. Well, hello, pandemic. That has literally been building that skill set for my kids. And those of us who have been inflexible, you might be experiencing from a health perspective, like you're constipated, or you're like your body like actually tells you like you're being inflexible. How do you know that? Well, you can't poop, right? Like
serious aches and pains in the body, too, headaches, inability to sleep, all those kind of things are all like we have to break through that mold of really it's being in the head. Like when we're in our head, we're trying to figure things out. Look, the way things are evolving are not logical. There's no that like if you think logically right now, you're gonna get lost in the sauce. You have to be in your heart and feel your way through it. But if you're afraid to feel your feelings, that's what I'm seeing with a lot of people right now. People are afraid to feel what's going on because it may require a major change in their life, and people don't want to change. People want their safety and security. It's a battle between growth and evolution and safety and security.
How true is that statement? Because we can't really actually evolve if we don't feel safe. Like people will say to me going, why do you do your financial planning process that way? And I say, well, it's because a lot of times, particularly like if a couple comes to me, one's more dominant on the money side than the other one. And the other reason why the other one is like not plugged in on the money stuff, because it's not a safe container for them to actually have their viewpoint or to do things their way, because there's a lot of shame, blame, guilt, and judgment. And I'm finding that is across the board in relationships, in our health world. And I keep saying, you know, I had someone say to me today, that, you know, it's really unfortunate back in their country, because they're not from the United States. They said it's terrible. All these doctors and nurses are not being able to go to work because they don't want the vaccine. And I certainly don't want to get into the argument of vax or no vax. I actually think that's just part of the evolution process
Yeah.
that that we're being challenged
Mm-hmm.
by. But and I cannot help but think that even here in the United States, there's been over 1 million nurses that have opted to leave their jobs. Do you think
Yeah.
those people are going to stop wanting to help people from a health perspective? No,
No, hell
it's
no.
going to lead to incredible volumes of
Yep.
innovation and creativity.
Yep.
And I'll bet when we look back 10 years from now, we're going to see this enormous pop in wellness stuff instead of a sick system, because our
Yep.
healthcare system is not wellness, it's a sick system.
Yeah.
And
It's
I'll
sick
bet we
burn.
start to see more of this stuff pop up over here. So maybe like that's the purpose of the divide between get the
It
vax,
is.
not get the vax. Like we can argue about it at this level, but let's take it up here. Let's be
Yeah.
more conscious,
And
right?
I think it's going to happen a lot faster than that
Mm,
because I work with a lot of doctors and nurse practitioners and registered nurses. Really, every single one of them that I've been talking to is looking for a way out. Is looking for a way to start their own thing, open up their own practice.
mm.
These three doctors I know have started their own IV clinics, right? Or whatever it is that they're passionate about. Like
Like that sleeve. That's so true. I just met a cardiologist who was top of his game in when I was just in Colorado Springs, and he started this integrated medicine place at the Garden of the Gods Resort. And
wow,
he's like,
nice,
I got tired of having to punch a clock every 20 minutes. I had to get out of this exam room and get into this exam room to maximize profitability for the hospital when
right.
I'm not able to care for people the way that I want to care for people. And I'm actually helping about 4 doctors right now as we speak to retire earlier because they don't want to be in that system anymore.
Ooh,
So
okay.
fascinating that you're saying that. And I'm
Yeah,
also helping people on the health side, in the medical system try to get out of that as well. That's interesting that we're both seeing that. And we've never talked about that before, which is
yeah, right.
fascinating.
Beautiful. That's a double down confirmation that it's happening at a very deep level. Not only that industry though, but
Oh, it's happening in finance too. Right. It's happening in the
well,
government.
everywhere. I've also seen personally. I've seen a lot in like the first responder community, like
Oh,
firemen,
yeah.
police, and anybody that's working with like the legal system or having to handle issues with all this defund the police business. And I feel like people are going to start coming together, almost like militias or like a different kind of sort of honor like uh safety policing kind of system, sort of like how people hire private investigators for things. Well, it's going to be more. Again, they're going to be focusing on the issues that that they are passionate about. Like for example, we're seeing a lot of different groups coming together for child sex trafficking and things like that. Right now, it's
Well,
under.
yeah, the woman that I do Awaken Your Relationships with said that domestic violence now in relationships is up like 80%
Ooh,
since the
yeah,
pandemic started. And it's
yeah,
like,
it's ridiculous.
holy crap, that's a lot. So in essence, we have all this turmoil that's flipping over. And this is one of the that kind of fits into a theme that you and I were talking about before we got on, was about the
Mhm.
fact that our health is affected when we're operating from this place of fear. And it's like, well, but
Yeah,
we got all this change going on in all these different avenues of the world right now, in your small community groups to the world at large. It's happening to everybody.
yep,
And that increases people's fear level, but fear then deteriorates your body.
right,
This
right.
is a problem.
Right. So we have to face those fears. And a lot of people that haven't done this deep inner work, they're getting hit like tenfold. Like it's like you got to level up now. And honestly, I think that's a big reason why a lot of souls are choosing to leave this earth right now. Some
Mm.
people it's just too much fear, too much resistance coming up, and it's literally like going like think about it this way, like when you have a spiritual awakening, right? Essentially, it's like a kundalini activation in your body, and then it exposes all these blockages and energy. Well, when that shit comes up really fast and you're super blocked and you're not willing to look at it, it's going to throw it out of whack so much that
Really.
something's going to happen, right? So we
Right.
have to
And
be willing to go into our heart and just feel those blocks, because really at the very core of everything, like it's a blockage in the heart chakra where things that happen during childhood or things that have happened, or maybe like you're in a marriage or a relationship that you're 70% happy but you feel obligated because of the situation, and that kind of scenario, right?
yeah, 4 kids. No one in my family ever divorced, and then I get divorced, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us what you see from a body perspective when people are not processing their fears and how the disease develops in their body and how to start to. You've taught me some amazing biohacks to hack my body to quantum leap myself to the next place, and
Yeah.
that might be another time that we talk about some of those, because God knows we could talk about a lot.
Oh, yes, we can. Yeah, I've been working with a lot of people. I've noticed that since this whole thing started, my gifts have been amplified quite a bit, and it's taking me some adjustment to be able to handle it because it's been so like overwhelming almost.
Mm.
Um, but people are seeking like answers, but the problems in the body are like you said, getting super amplified. And once we finally get them to understand, that you got to drop in your heart, you got to feel the feelings, you got to know. It all comes down to your belief systems, right? Do you believe that, like you're going to get sick? Do you believe that you're going to be broke? Do you believe that you're not going to be okay once you make changes to go
So true.
in the direction of growth? And this is all astrologically speaking, this is all Uranus and Taurus, right? Taurus represents things that we value, things that we love, like physical, like pleasures, our values, morals, and ethics. So if we've been living by a certain system of rules and regulations for ourselves, like most people, you grow up, right, and you're like, okay, well, my goals is I want to make this amount of money a year, I want to be in this kind of shape, I want to have a marriage with a partnership like this, I want to have kids, blah blah blah, right? You do all that, and then you structure it so that it's rigid, but that rigidity helps you to stay centered, aligned, right? Well, that day, that age, that's the age of
It is
Pisces.
gone.
That's
It's
no longer,
gone.
yeah,
Gosh, you're sitting here talking, Nam, and I'm going, well, that was this conversation with a client this week. This was a conversation. I had this young kid who years ago interned with me when he was in college.
oh
And
wow,
I was so sad when this kid, like, he just soaked in everything I had to teach, right? And
beautiful.
he's like, he graduates, and I was like, dude, all right, so let's do this. You're going to be a planner with me. And he's like, no, I'm going somewhere else. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
this kid got a hold of me. You're talking now, this kid's almost 40 now. So he's been out of school a
oh
while,
wow,
right? So he's
okay.
been out of school a while. And he got in touch with me and he goes, Jewel, because I met with him about 6 months ago for the first time. And he goes,
Oh,
can I meet
okay.
with you again? I was like, sure. And part of me was still like, well, maybe he'll come in. Maybe he'll be part of the team.
Uh-huh.
And I watched exactly what you said. He built all the stuff outside. He built up a business, and then he doubled his size because he bought this other business with a relationship that he established with an older planner, and rock and rolling. And on paper, this kid's got it going on. He's
Yeah,
got well over 100 million under assets under management that he manages,
wow.
providing really well for his family. And he goes, Jewel, I got to all the goals. Like, I got the wife, I got the kids, I got the business. It's all. And I go, honey, you forgot your heart.
Yeah.
And he was like, huh? He's a finance guy, right? He's like,
Wah, wah,
huh?
wah.
And I go, okay, let me tell you. In my first book, The Emotion Behind Money, I talk about the fact that if you, men particularly, between 55 and 65, 50% of my male clients in that age range develop cancer around their hip area.
Oof.
50%.
Yeah, that's a
That's
lot.
all first and second chakra, right?
Yep.
And so I started to ask myself, I did a lot of work with Deepak Chopra back years ago, and he used to say that a cancer cell developed because that cell had lost its sense of purpose.
Mm.
How'd these guys lose their sense of purpose? So I started asking them, like, how are you plugging into the world? How do you like what you do? Every one of those men were let go of their jobs, not by their choice.
Oof.
Every one of them. So men put that provider hat on very seriously. Yep. And then when the job says, we don't need you anymore, the kids are grown, wife's kind of on to her second career, right?
Now
and
what do we do?
He forgot his soul all along the way because he was being such an amazing provider for his family.
Right.
So you have to bring your heart and soul. So this is the conversation I had with this kid. I'm like, or dude, it's so predictable to me. You're going to have cancer somewhere around your hip area in about 15, 20 years. And, I don't know what to tell you, but you need to filter all your decisions through your heart. Yeah. And that's why the subtitle of my book is Building Your Wealth from the Inside Out.
It's beautiful.
Because otherwise you break down physiologically. Because you can have all the money in the world. I know people who are worth $50 million and they are not happy. Why? Because they left their heart on the side. They forgot to bring themselves along through the process. They did all these things that society says was right. And honest to God, you said it. The energy today and where the world is today is not going to allow that to happen like it has in the past. You're going to get, pardon my French, bitch slapped by whether it's a crisis of a disease, a crisis of a job loss, a crisis of something that's going to try to put you back in alignment with your heart.
Yeah. And,
that's at least been my experience, You guys can notice, I'll click this on here. Here's his website and everything and his email address. Reach out to him. I mean, you're out in California.
And I know. Why did I move to California? I never would have thought that in a million years, but it brings me closer to my baby. So I'll do whatever it takes to be in my baby's life.
And she's a beautiful girl.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, she's absolutely an angel. So you can go to my website, spiritualbodybuilder.com, and see all the different services I provide. You can also just email me at spiritualbbr@gmail.com. Right. If you have a question or you want to know something or interested in, whatever it is that we've talked about here, let me know and I'm happy to work with you. I look forward to
and even if you're not local, I'm assuming that you would do consulting appointments and going, okay, 100%. Find someone near you that does da-da-da, and they can pay you for your time to understand your knowledge base. Why not? Right.
Absolutely. I long distance, I can do about 3/4 of the services I provide. Astrology readings.
Awesome.
And I also have like a large online group that I work with that may be able to plug you in with people that are around you. So I'm all about networking, baby. That's what this whole new life is all about. So let's
we're all in it together.
Let's bring that vibration to the next level.
Woo! Yeah. Let's do this. Let's have fun in this process as to it being like torture for everybody. It's time for us all to just rise above and get to this next place. And Nam, I know we're going to do this again. So it's just a matter of time. And so keep checking in. So everybody make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and that notification bell so you know when we're coming back on so you can get some more information, some more data. And Nam, again, I cannot thank you enough. I think you're amazing. And thank you for helping me on my journey as well.
And you've helped me just as much. So thank you. I'm so grateful for you and your friendship. And I see a lot more beautiful stuff for humanity.
Good stuff.
Let's keep getting it.
Let's do it. Woohoo! Thanks, everybody.
All right.